In a world of sterile skyrise hotels and greedy investors willing to gentrify any neighborhood for profit, Airbnb gave us all hope that we could save the world by traveling the world, giving our money to the little guy along the way. From sleeping on mattresses in a stranger's living room to Airbnb's romantic Stay with a Host campaign in 2015, Airbnb built one of the most exciting and authentic peer-to-peer communities known to man. Unfortunately, one out-of-touch decision completely derailed their relationship with most of their users, causing many of them to quit using the app altogether.
Airbnb is going to file for their IPO.
Airbnb putting out a press release. Approximately 6 guests check into an Airbnb listing every
Leslie,
second.
is this one of the latest openings ever that we've seen for a company of this size for an IPO like this?
Doesn't need the money.
To make matters worse, when Airbnb was planning to go public, COVID-19 caused a wave of investment and travel on the Airbnb platform because people did not want to stay in a hotel because it was crowded and unsafe. This caused Airbnb to have record numbers in 2022, ultimately leading to unrealistic investor expectations. What Airbnb did over the next 3 years to their users is exactly why we are seeing the collapse of Airbnb all over social media and why so many people love to see it.
I feel like this has to be a sign that the era of Airbnb is over.
You have to clean and strip the bed and take out the trash when you leave, but hotels, it's amazing. You don't have to do any of that.
Hi!
What the hell?
Look, this is my house.
Yeah, but I'm renting this off you from on Airbnb.
Yeah, but I still live here.
Yeah, so why are you here?
Because I live here.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying, why are you here? I've paid to rent this out from you, and now you're here. You just come from a bookshelf.
Hi, my name's Sean Rocky Jeech, an Airbnb host with over 50,000 stays, and in this video, I want to walk you through the near collapse of Airbnb to reveal an unpopular truth that no one wants to talk about. Because even though Airbnb's not dead, everything that they are trying to do to turn their ship around is not working. And if anyone can save Airbnb, it would be someone like you or me. First, let's talk about why Airbnb is essentially dead and is never coming back unless it has the power of the people. Airbnb is a peer-to-peer software that allows you to take extra space that you have and make money through home share with someone who needs your space. This was a grand idea back in 2015, but it very quickly became a tool for real estate tycoons to make more money with their real estate. Airbnb was never designed for someone like myself with over 100 properties. It was designed for something called the excess economy. You have a little extra and you can make some extra on your extra. But Airbnb got greedy along the way. They wanted the fame of being a billion-dollar company. They wanted to go public. Their eye was on the prize for a long time. The reason why is they signed a blood contract from the beginning. Airbnb was failing back in 2007 to 2009. They joined an incubator called Y Combinator, where this incubator helped them raise funds through venture capital. And every venture capitalist wants their money back tenfold. So there was never a path for Airbnb to stay private and stay benevolent. Joke's on us. And because of this corporate blood contract to make billions of dollars on the way out, Airbnb discovered something. It's harder to get 10 hosts to launch one property than it is to get one host to launch 10. Airbnb started to develop software tools that would allow someone like me to scale their business to 100 properties. Things like the multi-calendar, where you can manage 20 listings at once, adjust availability and adjust prices, automated messages, which allows me to do 100x of the activities with my day than I normally would be able to. Airbnb enabled American greed and gluttony in the real estate space. Now, this would not have been a problem if Airbnb wasn't so real estate adjacent. You have to have a property to make money on Airbnb. And the most traditional way to have property as an investor is to mortgage a property and pay off the loan. But Airbnb allowed someone like myself to rent properties from landlords and to make a spread, charging more on Airbnb than I was paying on rent. This led to the massive companies that you've seen recently fail in the news, like Stay Alfred or Sonder, who just declared bankruptcy. Sonder had 9,400 doors when they shut down last week. Stay Alfred had almost 3,000. Some of my students have 900 doors in this space, and they're not going out of business, but it just shows you the scale of the problem here with Airbnb. And yes, I'm confessing that this type of operation is a problem for Airbnb and for its consumers. Because here's another truth of human nature that we all have to reckon with the collapse of Airbnb. Humans want more. They want more than they deserve. They want more than they can handle. And people will grow something to the end of their ability. When I first started in this space, I ran the business entirely on my own until about 32 properties. And then I was getting phone calls every night at 1:30 in the morning and I was burning out. So I hired my first manager. I eventually grew the portfolio to over 150 doors and took 2 years off from the business. And that absence from the business led to me getting more one-star reviews than any host you will ever meet in your life. My company did terrible in my absence. And that underperformance or underservicing our customers is a portion of the greater problem on Airbnb, where you just saw the TikTok videos of everybody being mad about Airbnb's inconsistency and cleaning fees and lack of safety, etc. But Airbnb is complicit in this growth. They made it too easy for people like us and for real estate investors to grab more property and hit levels of scale where these people, myself included, could do all of this damage. And so guests have left Airbnb. They've gone to Hopper, Whimstay, Booking.com, VRBO. They're booking direct by going to Google Vacation Rentals. There's so many other places that you can stay in an Airbnb that's just not on Airbnb. And Airbnb, to try to pull back the reins of all of this problematic behavior, started coming out with policy change after policy change. They were tightening the grip of control on their hosts to try to prevent problems from happening, to try to punish hosts for doing bad things, to keep hosts from relisting properties that were previously suspended. Airbnb had an optics problem and a quality control issue, and they started to punish their best hosts for the crimes of their worst hosts. And this is why Airbnb is too damaged to repair on their own. The real estate investor that is in the space just wants more money from their long-term rental product. People like me who scaled to the point at which they couldn't grow any further could either become dejected and bored and quit, or they find more nefarious ways to stay in the business, like you saw in the news, the wolf of Airbnb. Airbnb guests, once they leave, there's no reason for those guests to come back because there are other places to spend their money to get the same exact product. Airbnb learned this far too late. And Airbnb killing Superhost and creating guest favorites is a great way to try to get people to come back. But in my opinion, knowing customers, being a business owner for 20 years, I don't think that that's good enough. Airbnb quietly removed cleaning fees from the front end of the website. They now advertise all fees included, so when somebody goes to Airbnb, they don't see that the $2,000 price tag includes a random cleaning fee amount. This is something that they should have changed a decade ago. But Airbnb was naive and thought that that level of transparency would help people understand why Airbnbs weren't as cheap as hotels, because a 6-bedroom house might cost $300 or more to clean. But travelers seeing these high cleaning fees, not as business owners, did not understand the mechanics at play. They were only upset that it cost money to clean and that hosts also had checkout instructions like strip the bed, wash your own dishes. Mistakes made by hosts as well here, because I'll agree with guests in large. If you have a cleaning fee, that cleaning fee should plan to clean the whole place, including the dishes and doing all of the laundry. But let's bring this back to a core truth that you may remember. If you ever traveled on Airbnb before 2018, there were hosts that were absolute sweethearts. They were the best. They'll pick you up from the airport, pour you a bottle of wine, they'll do anything for you. And those were the hosts where if they said, hey, could you wash your own dishes before you go? I'm a little business person, you'd say fine, absolutely, A-okay. And so because of these great hosts, there was a cultural norm inside of the Airbnb space that people may start the laundry to help the housekeeper finish faster, or they may wash their own dishes. But Airbnb's greed to pick up people like me and get to scale is why they lost the understanding between hosts and guests. This was the superpower Airbnb had, was the understanding between two humans that did business together. But Airbnb ripped them apart by trying to go public. And everything that they did to go public further alienated the two from each other. And now on Airbnb in 2025, guests are mad at hosts. Hosts don't trust guests. Airbnb's air cover has more fine print than our tax code. There's just no goodwill anymore. And Airbnb needs to get that goodwill back if they're going to survive. But here's the truth. Airbnb doesn't have the power to create goodwill, do they? Because they rely on hosts and they rely on guests to make the market. There was a time if Airbnb told you this is what we do and this is how we should all behave on Airbnb, you would have believed them. But now Airbnb doesn't have the authority or the trust or the power to get people to reckon with Airbnb's guidances. People just do what they want. So the only way that Airbnb can survive is if a mass group of people decide to start using the Airbnb platform differently. And this is where I do think there is an opportunity in this space. I am biased. I've been a host for 11 years. I teach in the space. It's one of my favorite things to do. And I'm an artist. And this is where I'm particularly excited. Airbnb, by the year, is becoming more and more like YouTube. They've also announced that they're adding social media features to keep people connected after they stay. Airbnb's algorithm is already a combination of YouTube's recommendation engine and a back-end risk mitigation algorithm to make sure that people like what they see, but like where they have stayed. If you search Airbnb's platform, it looks just like the YouTube home screen, and it does for a reason. YouTube videos, this video that you just found, is a thumbnail and a title, and you click based on the promise. Airbnb listings are also a thumbnail and a title, and you'll investigate based on a promise. The only difference is on the Airbnb page, you have to pay some money before you can get to the property. And so there's more consideration there. Now, this next bit might be particularly interesting for you if you like content. Context: Airbnb is still punch drunk from what happened after COVID, after going public, and all of these real estate investors throwing so much bad, expensive product into the space that guests have lost their trust for the platform. Between that and social media and AI and guru culture, we are at an all-time low for trust. And on Airbnb particularly, there are still these rich investors with big, expensive, boring properties. They barely have furniture in their home. The home has no art, no personality. But it's the content creators, the young adults that have a little extra money that are getting into the Airbnb space because they understand that Airbnb is a hybrid of real estate and content. You sell your Airbnb through an algorithm that is governed by attention and desire. The creators that are good at hooks and copywriting and how to make thumbnails are having upsized results on Airbnb because Airbnb's algorithm shows people the listings that are the most interesting and the most desirable. Just like how a YouTube video goes viral, an Airbnb listing can go viral in its own very similar way. Clicks lead to bookings, bookings lead to revenue, revenue leads to profit, and profit leads to growth. Over the next year and a half, we will see the death of the real estate investor, and we will continue to see the death of large operators like myself. Both, I do believe the world thinks, is well deserved. And this is the fall of Airbnb, the old Airbnb. But if any version of the Airbnb is going to survive in 2026, the old version must die. And Airbnb needs people like us, frankly, ones that want to express ourselves in our listings and ones that want to put on a good show. Airbnb needs us in order to have a platform worth visiting and having properties worth paying for and staying in. The quicker that we can get rid of the bad real estate investors that just want everybody's money, the quicker that we can get back to the platform of 2015, where hosts love what they did and guests loved where they stayed. And here's the harsh truth for Airbnb. This may never happen for them, but people like us, we might want to make a place that people want to stay in. And we may list it somewhere else that's not Airbnb. And we will build our hospitality brands and our businesses around providing a good service and a good product. And people will pay us. We don't need Airbnb to do that. And Airbnb has realized this. Not only Airbnb, but their competitors. These competitors are spending $5 billion a quarter on marketing because they understand that real estate is finite. There's only so many properties and only so many nights in which to stay in them. These companies need our product, and they want to market our product so they can sell our product to their customers and keep a brokerage fee. They need us more than ever. And Airbnb, if they get their act together, they might come out of their pocket just the same and help us push our properties to their customers and help us get more bookings. If they do not do so, over the next couple of years, Booking.com might grow to surpass them, and we'll be talking about Booking.com properties instead of Airbnb ones. I'd like to hear your opinion on this. Was there a key moment that you ever stayed in an Airbnb and just knew you were never coming back? Does that mean that you're never going to stay in someone's house ever again? Or is it the Airbnb platform that drove you away? And if you're a host, was there a time that Airbnb betrayed you so much that you went multi-channel and you're getting more than half of your bookings somewhere else? These real conversations can help everybody get a GPS pin for where we are in the space. A lot of us have a dog in the fight. I want Airbnb to survive so I can be paid. Do they deserve to? Do I deserve to survive in this space? Perhaps not, and only time will tell. If you think you'd like to understand the short-term rental world better and you're a content creator, watch this video. This whole series on going viral on Airbnb is wild. If you're an Airbnb owner and you're in the space, watch this video next. Thanks again. And as always, I'll see you on the other side.